Hi guys, it is Sunday, April 3rd, 2022, and I'm here to do my tube update. I apologize for the glare on my glasses. It's kind of distracting me, but I'm not really sure what to do about it. Um, yeah, I don't know. The light, I think there's a light back here that I usually turn on, which I think helps, but I can't turn it on today, so I don't know. So I apologize for that. It's kind of distracting to me. So, um, March was It was okay. It wasn't as good as January or even February. It was about a normal month for last year. So, but there were things that happened that affected my stitching. So, for both good and bad. So, um, I was I had been getting frustrated for several months because I was struggling to see my stitching. Like, um, line is the trick in the treat. I tried to stitch on it in January, and I'm like, I cannot see this. And I had been struggling with I've been struggling with His Eyes on the Sparrow. I had struggled some with Raspberry Homecoming, and even like um, some of my other projects that were on different kinds of linens. I'm like, this is, I can't tell if I'm over one thread or over two threads or three threads. And I've been kind of using my phone to magnify it, which, I mean, it works as a short term solution, but it wasn't really meant to do that for long periods of time. Um, and my friends were like, just get some cheaters. And I was kind of thinking about that. And then I thought, Laurel, I said to myself, it's been a really long time since you've had your eyes checked. So I made myself an appointment and I went and got my eyes checked. And so he did the exam. And I told him, I'm having trouble seeing my cross stitch. I can't see it. And he's like, I know you can't. so, so um, of course, my prescription got stronger. And so I went over to Lens Crafters because I wanted to be able to. I ordered a pair of progressives, which means I'm getting old. And I feel old anyway. And I went over to Lens Crafters. I got a second inexpensive pair so I'd have something that I could use that day. Um, because I have challenge groups and the month was ending and I needed to get these stitches in before the month end. And I couldn't do that if I couldn't see. So I went to Lens Crafters and um, I was talking to the optometry tech and I was talking to him about, I'm having trouble seeing my stitching, and he was telling me that he had kind of been interested in cross stitch, um, but he didn't. I don't remember exactly what he said about it. I think he had tried it, or he wanted to try it, or I don't remember. And so I was telling him, I don't remember, I don't remember what happened, but I showed him my Victorian village, and I told him this was, uh, this had been my oldest project. I started in 1994, and I was in high school in 1994. And while I was saying that, I thought to myself, I bet he wasn't even born yet in 1994. Sure enough, he was born in 1996. I'm like, I'm old. Anyway, um, so um, I'm kind of old enough to be that boy's mother. Um, so anyway, I got my glasses and I came home and um, I I was doing other stuff and I kind of left them in the case. I didn't really touch them until about 9:30 that night, and then I thought, okay, well, let me try this out. Let me see if I can see my stitching better. Let me see what happens. I took him out of the case, and I was kind of playing with him a little bit, and the lens popped out. And I'm like, really? I've had these out of the case for 5 minutes, and the lens popped out already. So the next day, I had to go back and get them to put the lens back in, and it's been fine since then. But it really does help with my stitching. So then I then I thought, you know, for quite a while now, and I know I've done it on my channel here, um, I've been kind of blaming Pictureless Plus fabric for my inability to see, because like Linus the Trick and the Treat is on Pictureless Plus, and so is Raspberry Homecoming, and so is His Eye is on the Sparrow. And, and I'm like, it's the way Pictureless Plus dyes their fabric, and it shrinks, and it's really a really tight weave. And all of that is true, but it turns out that it's just Laurel needed to get her eyes checked and needed to get her glasses fixed. Was probably the bigger part of the problem than Pictureless Plus. Although I still can't really see his Linus the Trick and the Treat. Um, I did try that out, and I still can't see it, so I'm still gonna have to figure that one out. But anyway, I got new glasses. I can see my stitching now, so life is better in that way. So anyway, that kind of detracted from my stitching a little bit at the beginning of the month, or like, yeah, towards the middle of the month, because I was just frustrated, and I'm like, I can't see what I'm doing, and it's frustrating to try to stitch because I'm going, where's my needle supposed to go? I can't see where my stitch is supposed to be. So, and it was just so funny when the doctor was like, I know you can't. I'm just blind. So there's my uh, story on how I am somewhat falsely blaming Pictureless Plus for my problem. Anyway, it's gotten better. So I'll show you what I've been stitching on. The first thing that I've been stitching on, and this is kind of going to be my focus piece for this month, is Renaissance by Margaret Bendig. This is the container that it came in. Margaret supplied these for us. So it's a needle book and a frame weight, which I will probably make a pin cushion because my non-needle pointing self does not really need a frame weight. And a scissor fob. So this is where I am. I worked on this a lot. I did, I think I did, I have my numbers here at this time. I did 915 stitches on this. I did 915 stitches on this in March, and I've done 200 on it so far in April. In March, I finished this band here, and I did my initials, and I did this diamond block, which is going to be the pin cushion in the inside of the needle book. And then so far this month, I've been tackling the over one lettering, and that's going to be my task today. Is I'm going to work some more on this. And then this morning, I went and pulled out the instructions to find out where to place the rest of the items on the fabric. So when I finish the lettering, I'm going to move over. The frame weight goes over here, and then the two parts of the scissor fob and the page for the needle book. So there's my Renaissance, and this is my focus this month. I'm going to try to see if I can finish it. The frame weight is only like 53 by 53 or something like that. So, and the scissor fob, of course, is really tiny. I think the scissor fob might be not even 200 stitches. And, but there's still a lot of nun stitching. There's a row of 4-sided stitch in here. I got an end stitch all the way around this and all the way around both sides of the scissor fob and the page on the needle book. So there's not a lot of cross stitch left, but there's still some edging work and finishing work to do. So this will be my focus this month. The next thing that I worked on, I think I worked on it. Did I work? I think I worked on it. Yeah. I am so behind on this, you guys. Is temperature tree, and I did the February block or the February branch, and I did most of the February leaves. But as you can tell, I did not start March. I have not started April. So I'm behind. I need to finish up the last of the leaves for February and do March, which I think I'm going to do that at some point this week. Maybe later this week I'm going to pick it up because I'm going to use it for some of the travel stitches in the road trip. So I'm going to work on it later this week. This is Temperature Tree by Stitch and Mommy. And I'm stitching it on Elsa by Valkyrie Stitchworks. Cat Jones. Oh. I didn't stitch on this month. Put that back. I didn't stitch on that. And then I pulled out. So I've talked about this before. I'm doing the same categories. If you watch Sammy J Stitches, she's doing the 5 categories every month, and she sets a goal to do that many stitches on those 5 categories. And I'm doing that with her. And one of the categories is for March was something you haven't stitched on yet in 2022. So the project that I chose that I haven't stitched on yet in 2022, and I added it to my 22 in 22 in the No New Starts group, is a stitch for Sweet Freedom. And I put 853 stitches into this one. I did just about everything you see on her flag and on her dress is what I did this month. All of the lettering was done. And only a little bit of that white stripe was done. And everything else is I put in this month. So I will put some more working on this one this month. This replaced Moon Garden in my 22 and 22. If you watched my video that I did at the beginning of March, I had just finished Moon Garden. And so this replaced that. And I'll put some more stitches on for this month. And just today I decided what I think when I finish her, which is still a ways off. I still got a good 5,000 stitches left on this. I already decided I was going to replace her on my 22 and 22. But I still got a good bit to go. So there's A Stitch for Sweet Freedom by Lindy Stitches. Okay. And the last thing that I worked on since my last video is oh, I must have moved it over there. Sammy and Sarah and I, this Sammy J and Sarah at our Stitching Kingdom, decided that we were going to do a new start together, and we were going to start French Kitchen by Hands-On Design and Summer House Stitchworks. So we all got on Zoom together one night. After we played the whole game of when do you want to start? Well, it doesn't matter to me. When do you want to start? Well, whenever you want to start. And finally, Sammy said, "Fine, we're going to start tonight." So, so we started together, and I started the French Kitchen one, and Sarah started the Apple and Sage one, and Sammy started the Rosemary and Pear one. And this is how far I got in it. I think I've done 286 stitches on it. I haven't done a lot on it. So, but I gotta start. As you can see some of the bottles there and the bowls. And a little, I guess those are some herbs coming out of the top bowl. So that's what I got done on that. And that was my second new start for the year. I started another hands-on design. I started Tomato on New Year's Day. And then this is my second new start. This month, well, not this month, this week, really, I've been kind of lamenting myself and a little bit to other people. Not a lot, a little bit. Why I let myself get into these challenges that limit how many things I can start. Because I'm in the No New Starts group, the 22 and 22, which of course limits what I can start to how many things can fit on my 22 slots, which isn't really that big of a problem. I left myself plenty of slots for that. But, you know, if you watch Sammy, you know that this categories and these goals are also linked to when you meet your goal or you finish a project, you can get a new start. And so I kind of got two things limiting what I can start, and I'm feeling kind of some kind of way about that. And I don't know why, honestly. Like, it's not like I'm itching to start all the things. I am a little bit, but in some ways I'm kind of itching to start something, and in some ways I feel like I'm not quite ready. I want to like make a little more progress on Renaissance. I want to finish Renaissance, honestly. Um, so I feel like I want to, but I don't want to. And then I'm kind of holding on to those slots in 22 and 22, and I don't want to. I don't want to like use them. So I don't know. Um, I've been on the struggle bus with that. I do have a couple of new starts in mind. I finished. If you watched my last video, I finished Moon Garden, but I also finished American Heritage. And the slot that American Heritage was in on my 22 and 22 is still open. I haven't filled it with anything. And so I'm thinking about a start to fill that. Um, and I'm thinking about Little House Needlework schoolgirl lessons for that. But I have a lot of stuff that could go in there. I don't know. I have Psalm 103 by Lottie Da. I have plenty of Mill Hills. I have a lot of stuff that could go in there. Um, But the fact that I'm still kind of dithering about it kind of tells me you're not ready to start something. So, And then I also have, uh, so Fire Poppies announced that they were going out of business, and the whole cross stitch community cried, and they started a sale the day after they announced they were closing. Um, and if you haven't gotten the sale yet, good luck. I think they've gotten kind of cleaned out really quickly. But so I wanted to kit up uh, another project that I kind of want to start. It's not a small. It's not going to replace. It's uh, well, I don't. I'll show you this one. I don't really like this one. I don't think it doesn't make the project look very good. And I know that sounds bad. This is the model. This is the original sampler, and it's old and it's faded, and that's why it doesn't really make the project look very good. But um, this is you can't even see that, can you? This is Though He Seemeth Sleeping by Lucy Beam Love and Stitches, Becky Noland. Um, and so that's what I want to start. Uh, and I had been thinking about getting the threads, and then when Susan said she was shutting down Fire Poppies and all the threads were going to be on sale, I went ahead and ordered what I could. They didn't have some. By the time I got my cart ready to check out, they were out of some that they did have. So I got what I could from them, and it's a good number of them. I didn't get them all. I think I might have some of them. So, and I expect that that'll be my last order from Fire Poppies. I don't expect that they're going to have anything else that I'm going to want that they're not already out of. Um, I tried to get some other stuff and they were already out of it. So uh, I don't expect I'll order from them again. So um, I was thinking about these new starts, and also one of the categories for this month is again to stitch on something you haven't stitched on yet in 2022. The only thing that's on my 22 and 22 that I haven't stitched on yet is my Hate Fairy. And she's kind of in a low-key timeout because I have issues. I had to frog her, I think sometime like in October, November last year, December last year. I did some frogging on her, and I think I might have damaged the fabric. I think I've talked about this before. I can't tell if I damaged the fabric or if there's floss that's wrapped around the fabric threads and I can't get it off. I don't know what's wrong, but that's why she's in timeout. It's because I'm not really sure what the issue is with the fabric. Um, so I either have to fix that. Last month I used a stitch for Sweet Freedom, which of course I can't use again because now I've stitched on it. So I either have to fix the fairy or figure out the fairy, do whatever I'm going to do with her, um, or I have to start something new, or I have to pull in another WIP. And so I was thinking I would pull in Kimono because it's on the 2012 list. It's an old WIP. And then I've been kind of thinking, if I'm going to start a sampler, though he seems sleeping, I should probably finish a sampler that I have started. And I'm not going to finish His Eyes on the Sparrow. And I'm not going to finish the Three Things sampler. But Joy in the Journey is kind of sampler-esque. It's not really a sampler. It's like a quasi-sampler style. Um, Joy in the Journey. Um, it's not really a sampler, but it's kind of in the style of a sampler. And I'm like, I could finish that. And that would be a good trade. That would be like finish Joy in the Journey, and as a reward, you can start Though He Seemeth Sleeping. And I can't, well, I won't get into that, but basically, I can't do it as a direct uh, as you know, a direct exchange on my 22 and 22 because though he seems sleeping is bigger than Joy in the Journey. So I would have to put them in different slots. But I'm thinking that I'm going to use Joy in the Journey for something I haven't stitched on yet. And then I'll start though he seems sleeping. And when I finish a stitch for Sweet Freedom, I'll put kimono in that slot. So I think that's how I'm going to handle that. So they'll both get worked on. Uh, and I'll get a new start. I've been rambling for quite a while, huh? So plans for April. I want to finish Renaissance. At least the stitching. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish the edging work. That would be like a good work project or a good sit on Zoom and do something mindless project. To do all that and then stitch all the way around. I want to finish that. I'm going to work on let's talk about the categories for this month. Pull them up. The categories for this month haven't stitched on in 2022. That's going to be Joy in the Journey, probably. Pattern type, paper pattern. That's going to be Renaissance because that's going to be my focus project. A small. I'm undecided about this. It's either going to be French Kitchen or it's going to be a new start. I'm not really sure. Seasonal. That's going to be Under the Evergreen because Christmas, winter. Monochromatic. If I start um if I start schoolgirl lessons, I'll use that. And if not, then um I'll do something different with that one. So that's the categories for April. And I'm also gonna stitch on a stitch for Sweet Freedom. I'm gonna use that for I'm using it for Daily 30, and I'm also gonna use it for shopping on the road trip. So on the road trip, I got abducted by aliens, which thank you, Carla, because it saved me like 4,000 stitches. Which, I mean, that's 4,000 stitches I didn't get on my WIPs, but I can live with that. So, it, it picked me up on my way to Mesa and it dropped me in Utah. I can live with that. So, thank you, Carla. Carla messaged me disappointed because I wasn't mad at her. I'm like, hey, you're doing me a favor. So, uh, I'm in Utah. I'm going to be on my way to Shepherd's Bush as soon as I finish some of these shopping stitches that I'm doing. And so I'll be heading to Shepherd's Bush and then heading into Colorado. So still lots to do there. And that's basically it. I'm going to do the categories. I'm going to do a Stitch for Sweet Freedom. I may or may not start something. I don't know. I think I'd really like to finish Renaissance before I start something. I think I'd like to have a finish before I have a new start. So that's probably going to be the be the plan. So enough babbling from me. Um, let's look at some haul, shall we? I've been a busy girl with that me please button. Um, and I still have a couple more things that are going to get here tomorrow and Tuesday. My Fire Poppies order, and then one more thing, which in fact, as long as we're on that, I'll show you that first. Um, so Stephanie Webb at Lindy Stitches posted sometime in the beginning or middle of March, yeah, sometime in the first half of March, put it that way, that she had some free slots in the Bird Crush Club. And I was like, yes, please, take my money. Um, and so I joined the Bird Crush, and I got my first chart, which is the March Bird, which I'm going to show because everybody in the club should have theirs by now, and this shouldn't be ruining it for anybody. This is what I'm looking for. So this is the March Bird for Bird Crush, the broad-billed hummingbird. And so I got that, and my April bird is going to be here tomorrow or Tuesday. So I'm very excited. So I'm also excited for her to make the other ones available because I want to go back and get the first two. Because that first one especially is so cute. The Stellar's Jay is so cute. So I got that. Oh, I guess this goes in there. I'll put it in there later. So, so the beginning of March was market, and I got a few things. I ordered from Garan. I was trying to get, so I had gone to Garan, and they didn't have everything that I wanted, and so I went to Fire Poppies. This was after market, before they announced that they were closing. And they didn't have everything that I wanted either. But I decided that Garan had more of what I wanted, and so I would order from them, and I would just have to get the rest of the stuff later. So I ended up ordering from Garan, and I also found out some of the stuff I wanted I could get as PDFs on Etsy, and I did that too. Oh, so what I got was I got Founding Promises by Silver Creek. I got Mercy and Grace by Sweet Wing Studio because that's right up my alley. And I got a new Blackbird book, A Heart Remembers, which of course is in honor of Barb Adams, who passed away last year. I haven't opened it yet, as you can tell. But and then the other thing that I wanted was that I discovered was available on PDF was, I think I actually talked about this last month. Maybe I showed this last month. High Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitches. And I also got their, I don't think I have a picture of it, but I also got their ABC, which is like an alphabet with a bumblebee theme. So that's what I got from Market. What I did not get was I did not get Let Love Rain by Teresa Koyet. Um, there's some other Marcus stuff that I liked, but some of it I'm like, I like it to look at, but I don't know that I'm gonna stitch it. The Glendon plays Do Not Meddle in the Affairs of Dragons for You Are Crunchy and Good with Ketchup. That's one of those things I like it, but I could print out a picture of it and hang the printed picture on the wall and be just as happy. Like I don't need to stitch it. So that one I like it, but I probably won't stitch it. And there's some other ones that I might go back and get at a later time. I don't know. So then I got off Stash and Load. Somebody was selling a bunch of kits. I kind of have mixed feelings about this. Every time I'm like attracted to kits, like whenever I see those kits, I'm like, oh, let me look and see what they have. And on the other hand, I'm like, well, one, I have a bunch of kits that I haven't stitched, and two, there's a lot of reasons why kits are less than ideal, mostly because the fabric is super small. And for me, they usually come with Ada, and I always change out the fabric anyway. But sometimes there's a kit, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to change out the fabric probably, but I still want it. So one of them that I got is this one. It's called, this is from the 90s, I know it is. Christmas House by Gallery of Stitches. And it comes with a little house frame. And um, I actually, I don't, I'll show you the one that I have. It's, I actually did another one of this series back in the 90s. That's how I know these are from the 90s. Um, and this is only part of it. I didn't I didn't take a picture of the whole thing, or I cropped the picture. I don't know. But it's Santa and Mrs. Claus kissing, and the roof of the house is mistletoe. The top part of the house is they're under the mistletoe. And I did that in 1995 because, or 1996. 1995 probably, because I remember my college boyfriend was at the used car dealer that he bought his car from, trying to fix the car, and they were trying to close and go home and eat, and he was like holding him up, and me and the wife were, it was a family run car dealership, and me and the wife were sitting in the office, and I was working on that. So uh, I got that. And then this is the one I kind of dithered about this one because it's that same thing. Like, well, I want it, but I don't actually know that I'm gonna stitch, but I still want it. So this is Christmas Village by Needle Treasures. So I got that. And then I also saw on um, Stash and Load, the seller, I got these from the same seller. Um, Knee High by Hands On Design, because I've always thought this was adorable. And I have another one of these. These are really old from Little House Needleworks. This is Patience. I have another one in the same series. I don't remember which one it is. And then I saw this, and somebody I know, this was her unicorn, and if I didn't know she already got it, I would have sent it to her. But it was a really good deal because it's a limited edition and it's hard to find. But it's not really, I don't think it's really sought after like that. So I think the seller maybe didn't know, and she probably could have asked more for it. I got a really good deal on it, honestly. Um, she could have asked a lot more for it. It wouldn't have been like Lady the Flag, but she could have got more than I paid for it. But this is Stand for Freedom by London Place. So, and it came with the sulky and the buttons and the thread. So I got a good deal on that. Said person who this had been her unicorn is thinking about starting it for her birthday, so I might start it with her. Um, I got some thread from Valerie at Live and Die LA. This is um, the second die of Smack the Jellyfish, which I think honestly Sarah at our Stitching Kingdom got the first die, and honestly I think the first die is prettier. But it's green and blue, mostly green. I think the one that Sarah got is a little bit prettier. This is not showing true at all because my light is not very good. Uh, but it's pretty. It's not like it's not pretty. I just think the other one was prettier. And then I also got Pot of Gold from or, and it's yeah, that's probably pretty true. It's very yellow. It's like sunshine or scrambled eggs. It's very yellow. And then the last thing that I bought was my Fortnite fabric. Uh, I'm in the um, groovy gradients, groovy gradients. Uh, um, and so this is Dancing Queen, and it's pink. Again, it's not very true on the screen because my light's not that good, but um, uh, it's it's pink. It's a very girly, you know, girly shade of pink. So I don't know what I would put on it, but I like the color. It's the right. It's the right. Actually, I do have an idea what would go on it. I have an idea. And if I have an image of it, I'll show you. I don't have it here. I thought that I might. There's a chart put out by Sue Hillis, maybe, and I want to say it's a mannequin with a little the dress and all the little accessories. Um, there might be some connection to Paris in it. I don't know, but that's the chart that I'm thinking of. Um, there might be a girl in it. I don't know. But that's the chart that I'm thinking of. Might look good on that fabric. Anyway, and then I got some Stitchy Kindness. So, oh, one more thing that I got. And I blamed this on Gary. I was watching the Sunshine Stitchers and Gary showed this. And this is one of the things that prompted me to order from Garan, actually, because I knew that they had this. And I don't think Fire Poppies did. This is the Flag Day limited edition tin from uh, Shepherd's Bush. I haven't undone it, but I saw the Sunshine Stitchers, and I decided that that had to come home with me. So, back to my Stitchy Kindness. I have informed delivery, and you can go on the post office website, the U.S. Post Office, and sign up for informed delivery. You put in your address, you create an account, And it'll show you each day what you can expect to arrive in your mailbox. And then for packages, it'll show you what packages are on their way to you. So if you order something from Garan or you order from, you know, Etsy or whatever, you can see, oh, it was accepted by the post office. They made a shipping label for it. It was accepted, and it'll tell you, hey, this is on its way to you soon. Well, I look at these and usually I'll be like, oh, that's, I'll recognize, oh, that's from Bird Crush and that's from Fire Poppies and this was from, you know, Fortnite. So I go through them, but I came across one. I'm like, I don't recognize this one. It was from Etsy and it was from Texas. And I'm like, I don't know any vendors. The only vendor in Texas that I know is 123 Stitch, and they're in Louisville. And this was in a different city. I'm like, that's not 123 Stitch. And I hadn't ordered anything from Etsy. If I order from Etsy, it's almost always a download. It's not something that they have to send to me. So I'm like, I don't know what this is. I didn't order this. Somebody must have sent me something. So then I was curious, like, who sent me what? And so it came in the mail yesterday, and I pulled out the envelope, and the designer's name was in the return address. And I'm like, oh, maybe I did order it. And then I opened it, and I'm like, this doesn't ring a bell at all. Like, I don't remember seeing this. I don't remember ordering this. I didn't know anything about this. And thankfully, there was a card with it, and it told me who it was from. So, what I got Anne Hollywell, 1831, by Lucy Beam, Love and Stitches. And there it is. And it was a gift from my friend Vicky at Stitch and Button. It was a belated Christmas present from Vicky. So thank you, Vicky. Um, so there's that. And Vicky also showed me that she had also put out a second sampler. These just came out last week, and she had also put out a second sampler, which I might go and get. I like it. I don't know. I might go and get it. But this is the one that Vicky sent me. So thank you, Vicky. And I've been babbling for 47 minutes now, and I think you've heard enough from me. Work. I went and got my county issued computer. Um, I need to do something about getting a permanent setup for that. Because right now, they gave me a desktop. The monitor has this big base. This little TV tray that I'm on is not big enough. It's not very comfortable. It's an ergonomic nightmare. Um, and I also use it for my personal laptop, so I keep having to switch them out, which is not ideal. Um, so I need to figure out a more permanent setup for the work computer. Um, I probably need to get a desk or something. And then, but I'm only using it like twice a week, so I'll pull it out Thursday morning and plug it in and set it up. And on Friday afternoon, I'll put it on the coffee table, or on Thursday night, I'll put it on the coffee table. And on Friday night, when I log out of work, I'll unplug it and I'll put it over here out of the way until the following week when I need it again. It's not too bad, but I need a better setup than what I have now. And I haven't bought a desk. I haven't figured out what I want. And even if I had bought one, I don't know where I would put it. So I need to do a little bit of cleaning up and a little bit of rearranging in my living room to figure out what I'm going to do. I don't have a clue. Um, the space where my first thought is to put it doesn't have an electrical outlet there. There's no place to plug it in. And I could use an extension cord, but then the cord would be running across the doorway, and that's a problem. So I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. Um, there's not really anything else going on, I don't think. Just work and stitching and Zoom and yeah, I don't know. So that's all I have. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here and subscribing and liking and commenting and um And happy stitching. Happy Easter if you celebrate it. And keep praying for the Ukraine. Um, it's a very, very sad situation over there. Keep praying for them. And I will see you next month. Bye.